second. Here we go. You ready? You ready?
I'm ready.
Yo! We're here. We're here. This is the first ever Facebook Live edition of Talking Sports with Wade
and Croney.
All right, so on this particular episode, this is our first ever. Get that on my system.
Wow.
This is can you give me a water, please, ma'am?
It's live.
Wow. Awesome. Thank you. So this is our first ever Facebook Live that we're doing here on Talking Sports with Wade and Croney. On this particular episode, this is what we will be discussing. First off, let me get something corrected. There we go. All right, so on this episode, we will be talking about The Last Dance. We will also be talking about Fighters Island, which is, if you don't know, the UFC is thinking about taking a whole bunch of fighters to an island on one of these exotic countries and having them bang it out. Also, the NBA just came out with their top 10 players of all time. Me and him are going to give you our top 10 players of all time, and also we're going to discuss the list, not kind of discuss, but we're going to discuss the lists. And then the fourth thing that I mentioned, the G League, NBA, the NBA, and the G League, clapping up for the G League. They are starting or about to start getting money away from like college. He puts it a certain type of way. I don't see it that particular way, but you know, it just is what it is. It is what it is. So, first things.
Move that chair out the way.
Why?
Because it's in the shot and you can't tell what it is. It's just
What about that? We're good?
hold on.
It's like we should be good. Oh, I didn't see it. See, like from the shot right here, it doesn't. It's not.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, we're good. All right, so first things first. Where are we going to kick this off? Let's kick this off with the last dance, the last couple of episodes. So I have more catching up to do to truly break down the last dance. But again, like I said on the last episode of Talking Sports with Wade and Croney, being from the Gary, Indiana area, I have heard a lot of these Chicago like myths about things that went on. So I got like a general knowledge of it, but he's the one that's been dedicated to watching every single episode, which we definitely needed here on Talking Sports with Wade and Croney. So, Mr. Croney, go ahead.
Well, where we left off last time, it's been 2 or more episodes.
That's it.
Since the last
Because
time.
the last one we talked about was Rodman before he got to the Bulls. I think that was the last thing we discussed.
I mean, it was like right before.
Or like right as he got there, cause did we even talk about the Carmen Electra situation? About,
we didn't talk
yeah,
about
so we talked about all of that. So
he had the hoes.
So Rodman had the hoes.
Rodman had the hoes.
Literally, Rodman for Carmen Electra, Madonna, and Vivica Fox. Like again, it's only 3, but that's a powerful ass 3. That's a powerful 3 right there. How do you feel about that, Mr. Croney?
I mean, like I said, he had the hoes. I mean, he had the money, the hoes, and the rings. I mean, he was living a life, shit. I don't really see how he pulled them, but I mean, different strokes for different folks.
Well, Madonna told him to explore Dennis, and that's what Dennis did. That's when he started wearing the dress and started.
So she turned him out?
Pretty much. Pretty much. Madonna turned him out.
That man scares me.
Dennis Rodman scares you?
He used to.
By
he
the way,
will flourish right now.
By the way, off to the side,
in the world today,
Hey y'all.
if he was younger, in that
That's
age
the kid
now,
he did. He definitely scared
he
me.
would run it.
I didn't understand
He would run it.
why he looked the way he did. Why he had all those piercings and colorful hair, and he was scary to look
He
at.
was being him.
He was definitely being him. Speaking of, if y'all don't know who Shandy Shooter is, that is my beautiful wife. She is the host of The Shandy Show. She is one of the hosts, the co-host of Take Me By the Hand, one of the co-hosts of The Drunk Cast, and the co-host of the Ways World Podcast. She does a lot here on the Ways World Network. She does quite a bit. But, gotta get it on my system. But, yeah, so after that though, then I know like Rodman, Rodman came to the Bulls. They started firing off championships. Another very interesting detail that gets discussed, but no, I'm not saying like I'm talking about like when Rodman became the Rodman that we know. See, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Like I didn't learn about the Bad Boy Pistons until like 2000. Like that's when I learned about like the Bad Boy Pistons. But again, I was a kid. Like Jordan's first championship was '93. I was born the year Jordan won his first championship. Like
you gotta think though, during that time he wasn't able to just hit you too. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Check it out.
I was also not even able to walk, so
you know what I mean?
I wasn't even able to walk, so I couldn't do nothing. No way. I wasn't really like I said. I wasn't even really relevant of the Bulls until '95. Well, not '95, but '96, '97, '98. That's when I was real relevant of the Bulls because, like I told you before, my parents took me to go see a Bulls game.
That's all right.
That's when I got a chance to like.
I'm not Robin, but
got a chance to see Pippen. Got to see Pippen and Jordan. And it was like the coldest experience of my life.
Jaquan's watching.
Sup, Jaquan. But yeah, bro. So when it comes to like the whole Last Dance situation, after he left the Pistons, came to the Bulls, basically got turned out by Madonna. Started fucking with people. Matter of fact,
George Field had to straighten him out though, because if I'm not mistaken, he had some episode in Vegas. I can't.
So look, are you talking about when he like took off after like practice or like skip practice and like took off to Vegas? Yeah, bro. He came back. He put Carmen Electra on the back of her motorcycle, pulled up. In the gym, pulled up in the gym, fucked around the gym, like had sex all around the gym. While they were fucking around the gym, they were eating popsicles. Oh my god! Are you kidding me? While they were fucking around the gym, they were eating popsicles, bro. Like.
Oh my
Come
God.
on, man. Y'all can't tell me Dennis Rodman ain't cold. Dennis Rodman cold. Talking about, I'm going to pull up in the gym with Carmen Electra on the back of a motorcycle. We're going to fuck around this bitch and eat some popsicles. Eat some cool, cold, freezing ice.
Like, I can't deal. Pimp shit, bro.
Pimp shit. But yeah, so... Then, like you said, Phil and Mike and them had to get his ass together. Like, they had to let him know that's not the way we do shit here in Chicago. That's not the way y'all probably did shit there in Detroit. Isaiah Thomas wasn't letting y'all get away with that shit. Zeke and Lambeer on record be like, we had our guys in line. When I said they were in line, we were in line. One man, one band, one sound. We were here, goddammit.
Right. You're all right about that.
So, Rodman came from that type of, you got to do it this type of way to win system. He went to San Antonio for that 1 year and kind of went a little bit crazy, and then came to the Bulls.
Of course he did.
And then came to the Bulls, and but I don't think Pop was Pop. Well, no, Pop was Pop. Pop was Pop because he had David Robinson, so Pop was definitely Pop. But I guess Pop couldn't get them together. Got him to Chicago, and when they got him over to Chicago, it was like, all right, like I'm here.
Jordan.
Yeah.
That just shows the type of leader that Jordan was.
But also another very interesting thing is these motherfuckers didn't talk. They didn't talk.
That is crazy.
That's something else that really get me. Like, they didn't talk. Like, how? Well, not how. I understand how you can do it.
Rodman was in his own world, bro. You could see it.
Completely. Like, again, like that Bulls game when he pulled up with the Bulls logo. Dyed in his hair. Coldest shit ever. You got your team logo dyed in your head, bro. You pull up to the game and then you fucking snatch 25 rebounds. You snatch 25 rebounds there.
So maybe that was his way of speaking. You know what I'm saying?
Rodman
had a different way of showing his.
With that second three-peat, Rodman went free. That's what it was. Rodman went free. He was finally able to do what he wanted to do. By that point, he had already proved to the league that he was one of the best defenders, one of the best rebounders. People at that point knew for a fact they couldn't fucking touch Rodman. It just was what it
A
was.
super Draymond Green. Like a
Yeah.
super.
So let me ask you that question then. Who do you think is better? Draymond Green or Dennis Rodman? If you're watching
That's
this,
easy.
comment in there.
That's
Like
easy.
who do you think is better? And honestly, some people say it's not that fucking easy. Draymond himself said that it ain't that easy.
Sit down. That's all you need to do is sit down.
Draymond himself said it ain't that easy. Draymond like, you're not just about to go over here and just take my heart out, Dennis. Like, if me and you was in the same league at the same time, we'd be banging, bro.
No, y'all wouldn't.
Anytime
No,
they,
y'all wouldn't.
low key, anytime
Because
they.
if LeBron would have stepped over Rodman like he did Draymond, they both would have been out the game.
No, Rodman would have
matter.
powerbombed the fuck out of LeBron. Like,
Exactly.
spirit bomb. Like, literally, like, spirit bomb.
That's the difference.
He would have threw his ass. That ain't no.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Ain't nothing there. Ain't nothing
there.
Ain't nothing there at all. But no. So after that though, they started winning chips. Now this is when you come in. Like I said, you've seen the last couple of episodes.
Well, I ain't gonna go step by step like that, but I'm gonna put it to where they started to
Summarize.
his father. I mean, they won their third chip,
Yep.
and
Papa Jordan.
his father ended up getting murdered on the side of a highway
on some fucked up shit.
by some young dudes that robbed a bank. I think days before they found him asleep on the side of the road in a car.
Yep.
So then after that's what I want to say caused Jordan to retire. It had a hand in it. I'll say that. He was already tired. He was already planning on leaving to go play baseball before his father died, before the season even started.
But that pushed it. That pushed it. That was like, all right, bet.
His father wanted him to play baseball regardless anyway. So he went on ahead and did that. And they basically went through that, and he came back in the number 45.
And look, with Michael Jordan's baseball career, stop playing my man's. He wasn't like.
They said if he would have stayed, he would have made it to the majors.
I'm saying, like, he wasn't the greatest, but
he improved.
Yeah,
though.
he was
And
decent. He was decent. Like he knew what he was doing.
Definitely. Even though he went, 12 years or something without playing?
Yeah.
Something like that.
He was decent. My man was decent out here. But
he came back, and then that was I think after that is when he got into it with Steve Kerr.
Yep.
Steve Kerr. I thought that he just punched Steve Kerr. I didn't know Steve Kerr stole him first. Like I can understand how they gain respect for each other. It used to be like that back then. Now it ain't like that. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna get into that. But that's when that happened.
Mm-hmm.
They won. They didn't really finish it off there because, like I said, there was 2 more episodes after that.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to go off the head, like.
And then it's a 10-part series. So the last one come out.
That's when they started talking about Pippen. That's when they got to when Jordan wasn't there in between the time he was playing baseball, and Pippen was the number 1 player. That's when he made the All-Star.
Mm-hmm.
He won MVP All-Star game, and I think he was one of the top 5 scorers in the league that year.
Like he had dropped like 25, 26 a game. Like Rodman was out here getting niggas buckets.
And they pretty much got into him not taking. He was mad about not taking the last shot of the last game of the season.
Yeah.
To get them in the playoffs, they had to win that game, and he sat out on purpose because he was not called to take the last shot. He got criticized for that, and I really think that kind of shows the kind of person that he is, because he even said that he still would do it the same way if he had another chance to do it.
Look. Here's what I'll say. I am the biggest Scottie Pippen defender out here. When it comes to Scottie, I understand. Once Jordan left, if you made me the centerpiece of this offense, and I'm out here dropping fucking buckets, and the coach not gonna give me especially during the 90s, the coach ain't gonna give me the ball. You ain't gonna let me take that last fucking shot. You gonna give it to somebody else to put us in the playoffs?
Well, I can see. This is where my memory is because I can't think of the player's name, but the player that did take the last shot and hit it was the main last shot taker of the season. So why are we going to change up what we doing all season? He been making them all season. change it up now just because you in your feelings. We should give you the ball.
Cause I'm the star.
It don't matter.
I'm the star.
If it's not broke, why fix it?
Cause I'm the star. I run this shit. That's that.
You know that ain't right, man.
It's not.
Man.
But like that was Pippen's mindset. I'm the diva. I run this shit. This is mine.
It's not the time for that.
It's not.
We need this to make the playoffs. Like,
right.
You can't be. It's not about you as team. You should know that from being out here with Jordan, regardless. Even though Jordan did what he did, he was still all about team from the get go. So you should know that already.
But think about it. Football is more of a team game than basketball ever will be. Basketball for the longest has literally been about your best player versus my best player. And let's see who the fuck gonna go ahead and win this shit. For the longest, people were winning championships with just a single player. Think about the Mikens. Think about the Russells. Even though Russell had a team of Hall of Famers, but still, like the focus was like
he was still playing nobody.
But I'm saying like Jordan. I said Jordan. Miken, Russell, Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain got a ring as one of the best players. Like it happens that way. Yeah. This is what happens. Like, and then even when you go into like the 80s, like yeah, you had super teams, but still the best players were Kareem and Magic. Who was taking one of those last shots? Kareem and Magic. In Boston, you had Bird and you had McHale.
But they still was doing that. That was the system and what's been working for them. They didn't just switch it up and change that. Like that was always like that. You switching up the whole everything we've done to get to this point. You trying to switch it up. Like get out your feelings. It's all about team, bro. Regardless. Mm-hmm. Now we know with Jordan, they would have never even asked anybody else to shoot it.
Pippen always felt like, why do y'all think I'm not as good as MJ? Now we know Pippen was not MJ, but still, Pippen was always like, why the fuck?
Top 50 player.
Yeah, like why the fuck aren't y'all going? Y'all would give Mike the last shot. Give me the last shot. I don't give a fuck if Mike ain't trying to get paid. Motherfucker, pay me. Give me my money. That was another one of Robin's problems. One of Pippen's problems.
You gotta trust
your
teammates.
Me.
You gotta trust your teammates, and it's already been working. I don't agree with you on that one, bro. Like I thought. Look here,
Max. Max, when it comes to basketball.
There you go.
Look here, Max. When it comes to basketball, Max, your analysis.
I can't believe that you go with that. You being biased right now.
I am. I'm not gonna lie. This is a little bit biased, but you know what? I always stay neutral on this podcast. I never pick a side. I always try to stay as neutral as possible. This one time, I'm taking Pippen. What Pippen did with the whole hand surgery, as far as not getting it worked on. Recovering through the summer and saying fuck, and saying fuck this, like, you know what, I want to have my summer, fuck that season, like fuck them first 35 games. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I understand why he did it. He was already in dispute with Jerry Reinsdorf and fucking Krause. Like he was already in dispute with them. I want my money. You niggas not gonna pay me my money. So what the fuck are we gonna do here? I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna sit the fuck out real quick. And when I sit out, then y'all ain't gonna have no choice but to pay my money. Like I'm gonna get the surgery when I want to. Since y'all wanna play games and do stuff on y'all time, I'm gonna do stuff on my time now.
It's hard to argue with that. It's kind of hard to argue with that.
It just that just is what it is. Now, next up, we're gonna talk about Fighters Island. We're just gonna kind of give y'all our brief thoughts on Fighters Island. Okay. So picture this. The man Dana White himself was like, I want to bring UFC to the people. People deserve to still have UFC. So you know what I'm going to go ahead and do? Let me look at these different islands real quick, different places where I can quarantine the fighters and myself away from everybody else, and we can just have UFC events on this island. Like, and then we'll test as we can, which is the part where I guess this whole plan fell apart or it's still being worked out.
Just test right before you go.
But that's the thing, though. If people are still talking about they have a limited amount of tests, there's still a limited amount of tests out there. So like even if you get tested before you go and tested before you leave, that's still like 2 weeks. You get what I'm saying? Like it's still like a 2-week process. So it's still like some technicalities up in there that you got to get worked out. But
the only thing I see that needs to get worked out when it comes to that is the placement of the fighters before they go to the island and how many tests you have. Because you could easily, if you really want to do this, you could easily isolate each person somewhere or where you gonna have the test at and keep them there until they have their test and then send them to the island.
But again, it's like but you gonna hold them in that spot for 2 weeks?
Yeah. If y'all that serious about wanting to do this, why wouldn't you?
Okay. So let me ask. So how do you feel about Fighters Island? I don't know if you're a big UFC watcher or not. But
I'm not a big one because I seem to always miss the knockouts. I don't know how that is. I always miss them. Always. Every time I watch a UFC fight, it's always decision. I like the idea.
It sounds tight as fuck.
It sounds tight as fuck.
It sounds like a movie.
That's like Street Fighter. Or
Literally, it sounds like a movie, bro. It sounds like a movie.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like Fighters Island.
I mean, everybody gonna get to see everybody. I mean, I guess you can kind of see that already with the internet and shit.
Bro,
they'll really get to see.
What if they make a UFC video game and it's like Mortal Kombat because of this whole situation because of Fighters Island?
I could see it.
And then like no spectators and like the medical staff. That low key would be cold as fuck. I'm not gonna lie. That would be cold as fuck to have Fighters Island. I'll watch it. I'll watch it just for the whole aesthetic of the whole thing.
They're gonna have to have a lot of fights though, weekly. They ain't gonna be able to have it all spaced out like they do now. They're gonna have to have a weekly event or 2-3 days out of the week type shit.
Yeah. But again, shit, the UFC be going. The UFC be going. By the way, you see we're doing UFC coverage now here on Talking Sports. We talk football, we talk basketball. If baseball ever comes, we might kick off with some baseball. We're talking UFC, college, like this is sports. This is what we do here on Talking Sports with Wayne and Croney. But now, like I was saying though, with Fighters Island, I think, let us know what y'all think about Fighters Island. Comment down below. Yeah. Let us know what y'all think about Fighters Island. Like, do y'all think Fighters Island would be a good idea? Would you watch Fighters Island? Let us know.
I definitely would.
I'll watch it. If UFC did a Fighters Island, I'll watch the fuck out that shit. I'll watch it.
Don't make it a reality show, though.
No. Speaking of reality shows, I just rewatched, didn't rewatch, but I caught the episode of The Ultimate Fighter. You remember Kimbo Slice? Mm-hmm. May he rest in peace. The episode with Kimbo Slice, like, Kimbo Slice was a big motherfucker. That was
it hit really
hard. Kimbo Slice would knock you the fuck out.
So you just now catching up with him?
No, I knew about Kimbo Slice back in the day. I just thought, after seeing that clip, it would be good to bring his name up. Shout out Kimbo. So, next thing on the docket is going to be our ad break. See what I did there? So, for our listeners on Apple, for our listeners on Google, Spotify, iHeart, we're going to take a break. If you're looking on Facebook Live, if you're in the live, stay there. But we're just going to do a quick ad break for the people that are just listening to this. But for y'all, we'll be right back with you. How's everybody doing? It's your boy Way, host of the Ways World Podcast.
And your girl Shani the Shooter, co-host of the Ways World Podcast.
You can catch the Ways World Podcast every Monday through Wednesday by at least 3 p.m. on one of those days on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, everywhere that you get your local podcasts, and now
YouTube. Yeah.
We want to say thank you all for listening to the Ways World Podcast and stay tuned for much more because officially every episode from season 2 of the Ways World Podcast and every episode of season 2 of the Ways World Drunkcast will now be on YouTube. So once again, thank you all so much for listening and stay tuned. Don't say that. All right, we back. Next thing. we will be talking. Crap, I just forgot it that fast. No, I didn't. There we go. NBA's top 10 players. The NBA's top 10 players. That's the next thing that we'll be talking about. So let me go ahead in my research journal really fast. Let me pull it up. Boom. Talk to the people, Croney.
I'm just thinking about this list, and I really don't like that Shaq is all the way down to 10. I don't like that.
Here we go. So, we're going to break it down one by one. Like you said, number 10, Shaq. How do you feel? Shaq's number 10.
He was too dominant to be number 10, bro. He should be over Kobe.
What? Hold on.
Maybe I'm being biased.
Hold on. Stop.
Maybe I'm being biased
Stop
right
the
here.
tape.
That's probably what it is.
Flag on the play.
He was so dominant. Like, you couldn't stop him.
Hold the fuck up.
You couldn't stop him. Like, Kobe, he's been stopped. Shaq, you couldn't stop him.
When Shaq broke down.
That's true. But it took him breaking down. Not nobody else doing nothing. He was unstoppable his whole. I mean, I'm sorry, man. I'm like, maybe I'm just
when
biased,
Shaq broke down. Think about it like this. He got that 3-peat with Kobe. Then he went to Miami, popped off one, which was mostly Wade. Let's be real. It was
He was still a force, though.
He was still a force, but Wade did the damn thing. After Shaq popped off that one in Miami, what'd he do? He went to Phoenix. They made the playoffs, but it wasn't nothing. Then he went to the Celtics. He wasn't the same. Then he went to Cleveland and definitely wasn't the same.
So because of the longevity of Kobe, is that why?
Because Kobe won the 3 with Shaq and then popped off 2 by himself. Yes.
So he got one more over Shaq.
Yes, the one more over Shaq and Kobe's longevity makes Kobe, I feel like puts Kobe over Shaq.
I hear the argument. I hear it.
Do you have one against it? Do you
It's
have
just-
one to rebuttal?
I think I'm just being biased.
Okay. Again, we're
Shaq.
we're allowed,
I'm sorry, like
we're allowed one
a lot of
bias
people
per
don't
show.
hate me for that though.
It's okay. We're allowed one bias per show. So number 9 is Kobe.
Yeah. I don't like that either.
Okay. Why? You feel like Kobe should be higher, or do you feel like Kobe should be 10?
I think both of them should be higher. Kobe was the next Jordan, pretty much.
Okay.
That got to give him a bump somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Now, this is what's going to rub some people the wrong way. If you want to see the list, prepare to kind of be irked. Above Kobe and Shaq, at number 8, is Tim Duncan. Ooh, it got quiet there for a second. It got real quiet there for a second. Yes. Above Shaq and Kobe, at number 8, is Timmy D. Tim Duncan. 5-time champion. 5-time champion, multiple time MVP, or I think one. I know he got MVP in there. He might have gotten 2.
I think it's just one,
but still, one of the most dominant players of all time, Tim Duncan.
He wasn't the most dominant. He was one of the most skilled.
Inconsistent. Do we have to go over the Spurs championship?
No, we don't have to.
Do we have to?
We
Y'all
don't have
alive?
to.
Y'all want to hear me go over it?
We don't have to
do
do
one more
it.
time for him. Tim Duncan came in the league in '99. Took a couple of years off. In 2003, Tim Duncan popped off the second championship. Told them niggas, y'all can have this next one. 05, came back. Boom, give me that. 07, came back. Give me that. Now I got 4. Then, in 09 and 2010, Kobe popped off too. Duncan, again, was still like, just wait on it. Just wait. There's more. 2014, popped off another one. Give me back this damn championship. Now I got 5. Now I'm here. My legacy is truly cemented at this point. Tim Duncan is greatness.
He is.
Timmy D is greatness, man. Like, so as far as putting him at 8 though, above Kobe and Shaq,
7.
Well, let's go on with the list. And then we'll be able to kind of figure out, where you will place who. So after Timmy D is Larry Bird. Larry Bird at number 7. After Larry Bird at number 7.
Larry Bird at number 6.
No, Larry Bird is number 7. Number 6 is Wilt Chamberlain.
Is it?
Yep. Number 5 is Magic Johnson.
10 is
So
Shaq.
so it's Shaq.
No,
Kobe.
why am I thinking that Kobe is 8? I'm tripping.
No, so it's Shaq, Kobe,
Yeah, you
Duncan, Bird. After Bird is Wilt,
Okay.
or before Bird is Wilt. Number 5 is Magic Johnson. Number 4 is Bill Russell. Number 3 is Kareem. 2 LeBron. 1 MJ. I didn't even have to go up past Kareem to know who 2 and 1 was. That I didn't even have to do that. So where would you put who? So go ahead. Based on this, where would you rank them?
Hey.
Pop it off. What's up?
I would bump Kobe to 3.
Okay.
I would
So MJ, LeBron, Kobe.
dump Shaq. I'm gonna take Shaq and put him 4.
Okay. After Kobe is Shaq.
And then I put Magic after Shaq.
So you go a Laker. Okay. I see your Laker bias here.
Nah, because I'm not like a fan. And then you got me after that. Because I mean, Tim Duncan.
So then you
I
got.
guess maybe it's because people I've seen.
So
is probably
your
why I feel that way.
remaining players are Kareem, Wilt, Larry, Kareem, Wilt, Larry, Tim.
I say Kareem, Tim, Russell.
Yeah, Russell. Kareem,
That- I'm
Wilt,
giving you
Larry,
my
Tim,
order.
Russell. Okay. So go ahead.
You mean I forgot that quick.
Damn. So you got Jordan, LeBron,
Jordan, LeBron,
Kobe, Shaq, Magic.
Magic. Then I said Kareem, right?
Okay, Kareem,
Yeah, I said Kareem, Duncan.
Duncan. Now you got Russell, Bird, Wilt. You got Russell.
Russell. And then I do Russell.
Okay.
The only reason I put Russell so low is because his competition.
Okay.
That's the only reason. Because if it was better competition, he'd have to be over Jordan.
Okay.
Russell. Who I got left?
Bird.
I got Bird.
So Bird is your
Just
10.
Bird.
Bird is your
I
10.
said Bird.
So Bird is your 10.
And Bird.
So let's run through your list one more time. So you got MJ, LeBron, Kobe, Shaq, Magic, Kareem. Then after Kareem, you got Duncan. After Duncan, you didn't put Russell, Wilt, Bird. Damn. My turn.
Probably because of who I've seen. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's probably why I feel that way. But whatever.
So my top 10, in like with what we got. Obviously MJ's number 1. My number 2 is LeBron. My number 3, I'm also going to have to go with Kobe. For my number 4, I'm actually going to have to go with Magic on that one. After Magic at number 4, then I'm going to go ahead and put Kareem at number 5. And then from there, I have Shaq at 6. I have Shaq at 6. I got Larry Bird at 7. I got Wilt at 8. Now that's a little biased, but I got Wilt at 8, Tim Duncan, Bill Russell at 10.
You put Tim Duncan even lower.
Yeah, I did. Again, I know I made a huge argument for Timmy D, but yeah, again, that's personal. That's all it is. It's personal.
Yeah, it's personal opinion.
It's just personal opinion. But how do you feel about my list, sir? Or how do you feel about my list?
I can't argue. I mean, Bird too high for me, but that's just
you.
it's just
Bird's the Indiana man. You gotta put Bird up there. Indiana State. I went to school there. Like you gotta put Bird up there. They got a whole like stadium like named after Larry Bird. Like the whole come on, man. His statue was literally outside the school.
Bird,
I gotta put Bird. I gotta
because
put Bird.
of the Pacers.
Cause what? Because of the Pacers.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's what it is for me.
All right, Croney.
Like get that up.
So the last thing before we close it out, we're gonna talk about the G League, and we're going to talk about as far as like the NBA basically snatching players away from the colleges and the G League. So if y'all don't know, the NBA right now is offering top high school player recruits a transitional development contract, which basically means they'll spend a year in the D League and then or the league a year in the G League, and then after they spend the year in the G League, then they'll either be draft eligible or I believe after that year in the G League, then they'll go ahead and be draft eligible after that. So it was like, because most players, for instance, if y'all don't remember like the Ben Simmons incident with Ben Simmons basically told LSU and told college basketball, fuck y'all, I'm here for a year, I'm not here for no classes, I know that I'm going number 1 overall, and that's all I care about. That's literally all I give a fuck about.
Plus, you gotta think they losing players to other leagues,
and people going overseas and like going to China and shit like that to play ball.
So why not keep that money in house? Why not keep that money here?
But also, shit, college, like you were saying earlier, college players are out here getting the shit end of the stick.
Yeah,
they're getting the shit end of the stick. Like they're not getting any like residuals or nothing. Like motherfuckers, they didn't cancel the. Y'all remember the NCAA basketball and the NCAA football games? Do you remember that?
You watched that more than
I know. I'm talking about like the video games.
Oh yeah.
Like, bro, that shit was cold.
And that shit don't come out no more.
It don't, because players had a strike against licensing because they was like, okay, so how the fuck you gonna put our license? Like, cause EA, the people that made the NCAA football and basketball games, what they did was they didn't allow you to put the actual names on the people. So it was always some bullshit ass name. But if you knew who it was or you knew your team, you knew what was up.
Yeah.
So after that though, it just like it went away because it was a player strike. The players was like, nah, I'm good. If you gonna do that, we gonna cancel this. Like schools, it was just a bunch of shit going on. There's a bunch of shit going on.
Pretty much the players needed to be played.
Yeah. If y'all was gonna pull, y'all gonna do something that deep, players need to be paid.
They need to be paid regardless.
But
that's why I love this.
Now that's what I'm saying with the G League. So now what they're doing, and honestly, I've had this thought for so long that it's crazy that it's actually happening in 2020. But I've always thought, why not get these high school players? Why not actually pay them a little bit, bring them to the G League? That way they can develop in the NBA system, and it'll give scouts an opportunity to actually watch them directly instead of having to go to these schools. Like, you can think about it, like, okay, well, this team, like, let's say you got the number 1 high school recruit, and he's playing for like the San Antonio Toros, which is, y'all don't know, is the G League team for the Spurs. Like, but the Spurs is a playoff team. Obviously, the Spurs not gonna get him, but the Spurs will be able to get first look. So maybe they can make a deal and be like, you get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. There are different things like that. So this is definitely good for high school basketball players coming out of high school. They can just go straight to the G League. They can get between 300 and 500K off back and make a living and start.
But what about the schools? The schools gonna lose a lot from this because ain't nobody gonna want to go to the school. And what about education? Because a lot of people gonna be like, forget education. So what is the G League gonna do about the education part of the schools?
So this is what they're doing. They are.
Some schools can be buttholes and be like, you don't want to play for our school. We don't want to. You know what I'm saying?
A college can admit you at their own will, but as far as them going to school, the NBA is actually setting up a program where they're able to go to school.
Force them.
No,
they should force them. If you gonna play in the G League, you have to go to school. Don't just give them no.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's a part of it. That's a part of the deal.
Okay.
It's a part of the deal. Like, they'll be taking classes while they're in the G League. Now, if it carries on after the G League is the only detail I honestly don't have. But I know while they're in the G League or while they're in this program that they'll be taking college classes.
And then it's up to them to continue.
So basically, college will be getting like the C tier, some B tier, maybe an A tier every now and then. And that person really just want to go to that school. Like, Like, and that's how colleges will be working at this point. They'll be getting after the NBA gets who they want, or the G League gets who they want, then college and them will be coming in scooping up the remainders. Like, all right, no, I think it might give a spotlight to some players that wouldn't have gotten a spotlight before. I feel like some players that like wouldn't have got as much playing time because this star athlete, this 5-star recruit out of high school is coming to my university, so now my playing time is cut.
Right.
Like now it'll give the college players more of an opportunity to get more playing time, to show out. Like, look, or also they could be like, look, let us ball out so people can know, like, you got an option either here or there. Either A, you can come to the league, or you can go to college. Either way it go, you're going to still be able to ball out and win chips. Like, people do different things for different experiences, for different reasons.
Yeah, that's fun. I love that shit. I love it, man. Free the players, man. Straight up.
Free the players.
Free the players.
So after my long ass rant, we come to the end of our broadcast. On today's episode, we discussed the last couple of episodes of The Last Dance. We also discussed Fighters Island. We also threw in a little bit of our own opinions as far as the NBA's top 10 players. And to wrap it up, we just gave y'all a nice 15 minutes of our discussion as far as the NBA G League
Free
goes.
the players.
Free the players. Let us know what y'all think. You can find this episode of Talking Sports with Wayne and Croney. For those that haven't caught it live, you can tell them to watch the live after we're done, or you can tell them to go listen on Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeart, and hopefully a surprise 5th major distributor very, very soon. To wrap this up, I have been your boy Wade.
This is Croney.
And thank you so much for watching and listening to Talking Sports with Wayne and Croney. Peace.